Welcome back. The mission of the Denver Foundation is a Metro Denver that is racially equitable in its leadership and culture. And as part of this mission grew the BRIC Fund that specifically supports nonprofit organizations led by and serving Black communities. Joining me from the BRIC Fund is Javon Brame. And Javon, we're going to talk about this because BRIC actually is an acronym, right? So explain what that stands for and really the work that you guys do.
Absolutely. So the Black Resilience in Colorado Fund was founded on Juneteenth in 2020, and we seek to provide grant opportunities, funding opportunities for Black-led and Black-serving nonprofit organizations in the Denver metro area.
So how do you invest in leadership development, really building up those leaders?
Absolutely. So in the past year, we've made over $1.5 million in grants to Black-led and serving nonprofit organizations in the metro area. We've raised over $2 million in this first year. We also have our Executive Directors of Color Institute, which focuses on building up Black and Indigenous people of colors who are leading those nonprofit organizations. As we realize the emerging majority and shifting demographics in our country, there are more leaders of color who are going to have the skills to serve the society that we live in.
I want to get back to the Executive Directors of Colors Institute. Now you just celebrated 10 years
Absolutely.
Of that. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's an incredible accomplishment. Tell us and talk about the importance of the work that everyone's doing.
Absolutely. It creates a space for Black and Indigenous people of color to come together and talk about their experiences leading these nonprofit organizations. They also meet for 2 years, and they have monthly sessions that are both peer-led and led by different leaders from the community, rooted in a curriculum to help them become the best possible leaders they can be in these organizations.
Talk about everything they get involved in, really, in those 2 years, right? It sounds like that's an intense time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they're learning and refreshing on the basic principles of nonprofit management, and really getting to have conversations and have support to build upon the skills that they already have and build new skills has been an amazing opportunity for them. They also, after completing the program, receive a grant from the fund, and they also get to join a network of over 160 alumni in the Denver metro area.
Oh, I bet that's very helpful.
Absolutely.
Always having those seasoned people to tell you and help you to the next challenge. We recently celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about how you guys are really trying to continue his legacy, just right here in town.
Absolutely. When you think about the intersection of leadership, philanthropy, and service, I mean, what greater example do we have than that of Dr. King and the King family? Philanthropy literally means the love of humankind. And when you talk about service and leadership, Dr. Cornel West says in order to lead the people, you have to love the people. And in order to save the people, you have to serve the people. And so service and leadership are core components of how you begin to make a change in our society.
Well, it's a broad question, but I'm interested to know your views on really where do you think we are on the road to equity?
Yes, we have so long to go, right? And the pendulum swings back and forth as we talk about equity. Equity is moral, and I think it's Dr. King who says we shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. And I believe that the work that organizations like BRIC and the Denver Foundation are taking to serve people and position people where they need to be helps that arc of the moral universe bend a little bit faster, because we know there's a strong urgency of now.
Well, Dr. King was definitely, I think we could describe him as a leader on the front lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously leading that charge for justice. And yet, where do you think we should be community-wise here locally? Why is it important that we support those leaders, the ones that are really on the front lines?
Absolutely. When in times of crisis, like we've been in for the last few years, we've had 2 pandemics. We've had a pandemic of COVID-19 and inequities that have been exacerbated by the pandemic, and then great social unrest. And so in times like these, people turn to the people that they trust, the people they grew up with, the people they were in community with. And so as we're building those people to be the best possible leaders they can be, we create avenues for people to access them and access the resources that they need to really be successful.
How can people support what you do?
Absolutely. People can go to bricfund.org and click the donate button and engage in the act of philanthropy. You don't have to be rich or a billionaire to be a philanthropist. You can be a philanthropist with what you have. And so set up a monthly $10 donation to the BRIC Fund and get those resources to these community nonprofits, these Black-led and serving nonprofits, but also engage in community. Have the tough conversations. Be willing to grow. And those are the things that really move us forward as a society.
Sure does. And Javon, you said that perfectly. Thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. To learn more about the Black Resilience in Colorado Fund and how you can help or get involved, visit bricfund.org. Stay with us. We'll be right back.